Another war bill? I don't know what the fuck is up with Glenn these days, or I think just somebody at the Blaze hates him. I get flaking, lady. Another war bill who can say flaking goodbye. Get fly. Yeah, I don't know why they keep doing this, and this is also like missiles in front of the Capitol, and then he's outlined in white. Like, let it go, man.
So, Mike, what the hell of the Senate?
Oh, by the way, big like, oh no, and then he's going to be joking about it anyways, and also Senator Mike Lee, ladies and gentlemen, the guy from Utah who wants to end Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Get rid of it. They've got to go. Not raise the age, not lower the benefits. Get rid of it entirely.
Done this time.
Well, the Senate this time has yet again put together a bill that now appears quite likely to pass that unites Democrats.
It did.
Sharply divides Republicans on an issue where most Republican voters and most Republican senators are adamantly opposed to the Democrats' position.
Nope. No, they aren't.
But Senate Republican leadership and a small handful of others have given the
You mean the majority of your side that voted for it?
The Senate Democrats more than enough votes to where it looks like they're going to be able to pass this thing in the next 48 hours or so. It really is too bad. I mean, we can still stop it if all the Republicans.
Why are we showing the room with Pat Gray in it and the missing chair with him there? I mean, not that I want to see Glenn Beck, but fuck kind of. So I just do my show like this from now on? Is that the quality standard at the Blaze? Is that how I'm supposed to fucking do a show? Huh? I mean, what qualifies as a show these days, for fuck's sake? Anybody? No?
Decided to band together, we could still stop it, but
nope, you can't.
The clock's ticking.
Yeah, but you have Murkowski and Romney.
Yeah, people who actually have to get reelected by appealing to more than just a bunch of maggots.
So you're not going to give.
Yeah, but the remaining 31 of us who didn't vote for this have strong concerns, big concerns that are backed up by voters all across America.
Right, they're a little scattered, and they're out in the sticks, so there's not a lot of them. They're just, peppered throughout the rural areas.
Not all of them Republicans, by the way, but certainly an overwhelming supermajority of.
Get the fuck out of here, Mike Lee. You don't have a bunch of Democrats backing your shit, except for the ones the Democracy Now! Democrats who are like, I don't vote, but if I was going to vote, I wouldn't vote for Genocide Joe and his stupid Gaza aid. I'd vote for Donald Trump, a man who could truly bring peace to the Middle East.
Republicans in the country have grave difficulty with this. I stood on the Senate floor all day on Saturday. Spoke for.
Oh yeah, he did a 4-hour filibuster and everybody left.
4 continuous hours.
Yeah, and nobody listened.
Trying again and again and again to get amendments pending in the Senate, meaning they're in the queue
to kill it,
to be voted on, to be addressed. The Democrats wouldn't let us do it. I put up an amendment, for example, making sure that this aid wouldn't end up going to Hamas.
All right. Yes, because there's Palestinian aid in it, and we have to guarantee that it doesn't go to Hamas. So no, we're going to check people before they get a bag of rice. Are you Hamas? No, I'm hungry. All right, but no, not hungry. Are you Hamas? I'm not from Hungary. I'm Hungary. I'm hungry. I need something to eat. Are you Hamas, though? No. You said yes first. I meant no. I meant yes because I'm hungry. You asked me the other question. All right. But if I find out later you're Hamas and you fed yourself or someone else with this, then I'm going to starve the rest of these people just because I'm mad. Get the fuck out of here.
You send this through any of these entities, through the UN. They make a lot of hay about the fact that, we cut UNRWA out of any aid. Oh, great.
Right.
Great. There are 19 UN agencies operating in Gaza.
Right. But UNRWA is the problematic one. So you put it through, and by the way, these are not 19 UN separate agencies. There are breakouts of it, and the education arm doesn't factor into when you're trying to get food into there. Secondly, it'll go through NGOs, and it's cleared through them. The Israelis are looking at all the shit before it goes in, and it's just food. So fuck off.
And guess what? You send aid to Gaza, trying to say we're going to send this to Gaza, but not Hamas. That's not real. I don't even know how.
All right. If you're trying to stop people from starving, you can't selectively not select people who are starving in a starving situation. This is what we're dealing with, folks. I would like to, by the way, everybody gather in, all the fuckers who think that I'm too easy, I'm doing IDF talking points and I blah 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 blah. All the shit you've heard from me about the genuine numbers coming out of Gaza and all that kind of stuff and all the problems you might have with my argument, and you are welcome to have them. You are welcome to question the validity of what I'm saying, and I will stand by what I say. But I would also like to remind you that on the other side of the equation, the alternative is this motherfucker who wants to end Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid, and he's like, if we can't guarantee there aren't any Hamas people who are going to get a plate of food, we're going to let these motherfuckers starve. Period. End of story. Genocide Joe, who you like to call him, he's the, he wants to send food in, and but it's just so you could draw him out. He's basically got a plate of food and a hammer, according to you. Like he's just gonna, they're only fattening him up for the kill or something like that. Tell yourself that fucking ridiculous story all you want to, but I want to remind you that what you're hearing from this motherfucker is no food at all. None. It's just same thing from Trump too. But you go vote for him. You go say it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. You talk to me about fucking the lesser of two evils, and I will tell you that if you are ever confronted with a decision you believe is between the lesser of two evils, choose less evil.
So it's like saying we're going to give money to the UK, but it won't go to the British. It's not a thing. Fuck
off. That's the analogy. That's the quality of analogy we're going to get from this motherfucker. It's like we're going to give money to the UK, it's not going to go to the British. Hey, asshole, you know what happens when you send aid to Ireland? It stays in fucking Ireland. It's a dumb analogy even to start with, much less its lack of humanity. Good Lord.
So hang on. $90 billion. What's in this package? What are we? Right, so what are we sending?
Of the $95 billion in the package, about $60 billion of it goes to Ukraine. Well, within that portion of it, you've got about $8 billion that goes to direct economic assistance to the Ukrainian government, where the Ukrainian government is expected to spend that on things like paying all of Zelensky's bureaucrats, every government employee in Ukraine, civilians, the whole thing, for an entire year.
That's all? Really? So $8 billion. We're giving them $8 billion, and they can run their whole fucking government while they're at war on $8 billion. Really? Well, shit. If Donald Trump was a real billionaire, I would say just give them Donald Trump, and he can just help them raise that amount of money because he's that rich and he knows what he's doing. Get the fuck out of here. $8 billion, and they can run their whole country for a year? Their entire government while they're at war? Good Lord. Mike Lee may have just convinced people that the United States should have some of those folks come over and serve in our fucking government.
They're also free to use that for their own welfare benefit system. They're also free to use.
Yeah, because they have old people and pensioners who have moved from a war zone, who are no longer home. They're at war.
That for their own sort of Ukrainian crony capitalism sort of thing, which they
sort of thing. Oh, you mean the thing that Putin's been trying to install for years and failed?
Going on. For example, we've got actual instances of this type of aid that we've given to Ukraine over the last couple of years being used to buy people concert tickets in Ukraine, to shore up the viability of clothing stores in Ukraine.
Yeah, nobody needs clothes in a cold environment.
It's a real motherlode of opportunities here, opportunities for those who are close to the Ukrainian corruption. Now, look,
it's curious. So he's just straight up doing the Russian talking points on Kiev in general. All right. He usually wasn't that close to it. Now he's just all in.
Could have a real debate here if this were just military aid, but there's so much in this package that is not military aid that's going to other things.
Yes, keeping civilians alive, because the majority of the country are full of civilians, and so you're not feeding the soldiers, you're feeding the people, because through NATO countries and our other allies, you can provide them with military, ready to eat, meal kits and that kind of stuff, which is not functional for a society, but you can, and by the way, help their farmers and their shipping get food to other countries that will starve without it. Yeah. It's the welfare queen narrative applying to Ukraine, notice? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Also in the bill.
For the record, this motherfucker doesn't think our pensioners should survive into old age. This is Captain Cat food over here for grandma. Of course he doesn't give a rat fuck about Ukrainians.
You've got a total of between $9 and $10 billion. It's going, loosely speaking, to some type of humanitarian aid.
Yeah. Who does that? What kind of Jesus-y bullshit?
And it just says in these two different accounts that add up to between $9 and $10 billion. It says that they can go to these loose humanitarian concerns in and around Ukraine and in and around Israel, which means that in theory, the Biden administration could channel most or even all of that aid to Gaza. It's what Gaza does when we give them humanitarian aid. It's not Gaza broadly. This is Hamas. Well, Hamas in the past is...
Okay, yeah, so this is going to be his talking point, and apparently he thinks there's fertile ground over at the Blaze for the idea that if you feed Palestinians in Gaza, you are feeding Hamas, and therefore you have to starve the snake. And you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, and if some women and children starve to death, if civilians who are in the camps and in the refugee areas die, that's the price of choking off Hamas in that instance. Oh, by the way, this is also a guy who believes that abortion is wrong and women shouldn't have that right because Democrats want to kill babies after they're born. Meanwhile, this motherfucker is basically going, look, if a bunch of kids starve to death, look, how do you give food to kids and not have it go to some of these? I mean, they're going to grow up to be Hamas anyways, let's be honest, right?
Use our aid money, whether funneled through the United Nations, as it usually is, or...
Jesus Christ, it's going directly to a camp while the war is going on. We're not talking about the issues with sustained aid going through UNRWA, used to build tunnels and fucking dig. They're not, Hamas isn't in the missile-making business right now. This money directly goes to, like, camp supplies, literally tents, water, food specifically for these people. This motherfucker.
Or otherwise. They build tunnels. They buy arms.
Right. That's why the funding through UNRWA stopped. But that's why we're going to the fucking Red Cross and why the UN's regular, Human Rights Council on refugees, the Refugee Council from Human Rights, HRC, why they will be in charge of a lot of this stuff. That's why it's not going in as cash. That's why it's not going in as building materials. It's just fucking food and medical supplies. This is disgusting.
They prepare to attack innocent Israelis and do horrible things. This is giving them more of an opportunity to do that very thing that resulted in October 7th. But make no mistake, Hamas is not content with October 7th. That's just
yeah, we know that. But one of the ways that you kind of guarantee that there might be another October 7th is that you just starve children when you have an option not to. And this kind of like rebuilding diplomacy goes a long way towards stopping that. I mean, look at our relationship with Japan and Germany afterwards, huh?
a preview of more
After World War II,
things to come.
or after the Civil War.
All they need are the resources, and apparently we might be providing them with those.
Mike, it's Pat Gray.
Okay, nobody's throwing fucking rice bombs, dumb fuck.
Just to be clear, I want to make sure I understand. You are anti-Ukrainian concerts, then, as well as anti-Ukrainian clothing stores.
Yeah, I got that too. Good catch.
Did you?
Good catch, Pat.
Thank you. I didn't. He was just going to let that slide, and I don't want it to.
Well, yeah, that may be true, and and certainly it was a scandal, and that's why they dealt with it, as you do. The bigger story, though, Pat, is that he's anti-feeding Palestinian women and children, because if you do, they're basically just, the women are just terrorist factories. That's what their wombs do. They just make terrorists is what they do. They don't have a choice, and the kids themselves are already on a trajectory to become terrorists. So that's the part that stands out about what Mike Lee said for me.
Mike, I have to tell you,
Ukrainians can go to concerts, they can buy the clothing they want, but not on the American taxpayer dime. That's my position.
I have to tell you, Mike, at every corner, it seems, since 2008, when we're talking about
since 2008
big money, the American people have not had it. Big corporations have gotten it. The big banks have gotten it.
Fuck, are you talking? All right, okay, Glenn Beck, Mr. fucking man of the people. Are you shitting me? Really? You're gonna just go like blue collar populist all of a sudden? Where's my break? I'll tell you where it went. Ask Marjorie fucking Taylor Greene about her PPP loan. Ask her about that. Ask her about the American Rescue Package. Ask her when she's going to return that fucking money.
The Fed has gotten it.
The Fed is
countries have gotten it.
Hold on. The United States taxpayer made money on 2008. This is, they want to lay this, never mind the fact that Obama didn't come into office till January 2009, and we'll put that aside for a second. But the idea that there is no Elon Musk without Obama's choice to help Tesla along with the big three to try and grow the electric car market. There is no Elon Musk without large-scale government contracts. So don't give me this fucking bootstrap bullshit about him either. But let's be abundantly clear that, this motherfucker doesn't give a rat's ass about the average person. He's speaking to a particular group of people, the prepper crowd, that thinks the world is collapsing around them. He doesn't give a rat fuck. He doesn't even operate out in the real world. This motherfucker hasn't been to a restaurant that isn't in a section that isn't cordoned off in forever, unless he goes through the fucking Sonic drive-thru where he never sees anybody else. It's just, it's gross. This like man of the people horseshit. When these fuckers don't even like people. Pat Gray, I guarantee it, when he's out and about, is the most sour motherfucker you could run into. He, I bet, goes to the grocery store by himself and is lying to himself the entire time he's there. This is fucking terrible. This is fucking, look at this. Fucking, okay. Oh, these are on sale. I'm going to get a pack of beer and kind of shit. Like, this sucks. I need to get a bigger cart.
The clothing stores in Ukraine have gotten it, but the ma and pa, I had to buy
okay, here we go.
Black suit over the weekend.
I had to buy a black suit over the weekend.
And I went into this
dude, unless it was for a funeral, Fuck you.
Great, legendary clothing store in New Haven, Connecticut called.
Sure, as you do. Okay, yeah, mom and pop stuff. So, legendary, upscale clothing store in New Haven, Connecticut. You had to get a black suit while you were there because, holy shit, I'm going to be in New Haven near Yale, and I got to get a black suit while I'm there. Anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted your populist blather. Ferrucci's, name drop. So they gave you by mentioning it, they gave you a deal, did they? Where's the thing on YouTube? YouTube shouldn't there be a contains paid promotion label on this?
And as I'm talking to the guy behind the counter, and he's like, "COVID killed us, man. It killed the clothing industry."
Jesus Christ. Imagine how the people who actually fucking died from it felt.
They're struggling, the people that made really good suits for like Brooks Brothers and
the old people. Gee, I wonder.
Stuff for him. He said they used to have 2,000 employees. He said they got down to, I think it was 150 employees, and now they're back up to 500, and everything has changed, and not a dime has been helping out these companies. They
Okay, first of all, not a dime. Fuck you. The American Rescue Package and the PPP loans that the Democrats put in there were specifically to salvage companies of that particular size. And the idea that this guy had 2,500 employees and he was down to 150 during COVID because, people weren't dressing up to go out. Nobody needed a new suit because they were comfortable wearing the old suit because they couldn't go to the fucking funeral anyways. All of these things pointed at that. That's why the dude's got 500 employees back. Yeah, and 500 employees is not a mom and pop shop. Exactly.
Destroyed us. And we were buying, people were getting stuff and they were buying concert tickets here in America, while the real people trying to keep the doors from falling off.
The doors from falling off. Is there... I think the one thing that bothers me the most about MAGA, more than any other thing, is their anti-colloquialism. They just refuse to use any kind of normal colloquialism in English properly or at all.
No pun intended with Boeing, because they're apparently working to keep the doors flying off.
Sometimes the stupid, it just hurts.
The people who are really doing the hard work, they never get a break from this government.
The people doing the really hard work. You mean high-end suit makers who employ cheap labor. You mean those folks? Why'd you need the black suit, Glenn? What? I mean, you were just... Because you were up there? Why'd you need a black suit? It was something formal you went to? Something you just needed one? I mean, I got news for you. The H&M's got... no, the cuts will be too small.
Ever.
Never get a break from it, and it never sleeps. It never stops spending. And
what the fuck are you talking about? It never sleeps. They never stop spending? Jesus Christ. Hey, asshole. He was just arguing that they should have gotten more money. This suit manufacturer that he goes to that was fancy pants in New Haven that had 2,500 employees at its peak and after COVID was down to 150 and now is back up to 500. And I guarantee they have found ways to tighten their supply chain and shorten it. He's arguing that they should have gotten more money. That they should have gotten more spending. That's right, that they should have gotten more government support. He's not arguing against government support, you dumb motherfucker. He's saying they should have gotten something.
The more we spend with, multi-trillion-dollar deficits year after year after year, it starts to add up, and it starts to make every dollar that we have that...
we would have a deficit below our GDP if not for Donald Trump.
Americans earn through their hard work by less. You know, the average American household every single month has to shell out an additional $1,000 just to live.
No. They don't. They don't have to. They are. They're spending a lot more money. And that's one of the reasons why the fucking Fed is freaking out and why there was this big issue. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can grab this business. So there was a spike in inflation in the new report. Hold on. Let's see. U.S. inflation that made the stock market wig out this week. U.S. stocks tumble as hot inflation data confirms rate cut delay. Again, this, and let me show you. I'll show you the comparison. This is, oh god. Okay. All right. There's certainly been no issue in terms of the Biden administration being anti-construction. There certainly was not a run on extra building during the Trump era. Can I say if there were one of the reasons why rents are high, even though the population is lower because people died during fucking COVID. One of the reasons why rents are higher is because we don't have enough actual houses in this country. We don't have enough apartments. We don't have enough buildings that are, we have a lot of business architecture in the country. Downtowns are full of them, but you can't convert those into living quarters because of the inside of the building and the way they're just nobody's supposed to stay overnight because there's limitations on anyways. Point being, let me show you what this I'll just show you the back and forth on this because it's fucking hilarious. Okay, I don't care. Get out of the way. And this is so, this is so on the fucking nose. Okay. U.S. stocks tumble as hot inflation data confirms rate cut delay. Now, has there been printing extra money lately? Nope. People are just still buying shit because wages have gone up. So stocks are like, oh shit, we're going to have to pay employees more. Again, the rise in the cost of goods is an anti-slavery tax. We're paying it on a bunch of items that had slavery in the supply chain, period, end of story. I'll show you in a minute what the fuck China is having. Yes, the rent is too damn high. That's exactly right. So let me go to this one. Where is it? Maybe it's over here. Let me look at it. Yeah, look at this one. Rising rents. Consumer. U.S. consumer prices increased more than expected in January amid rises in costs of shelter and health care, but the pickup inflation likely does not change expectations that the Federal Reserve will start cutting interest rates in the first half of this year. So there was a delay in rental in rent going up. And then there were other places where people were moving to a new market and the market just flooded with people, and so they were able to charge more. So you had people who were well-to-do who moved out of big cities, and they had big city money going to small towns, and so the rent went up. All right. And then, yes. And so COVID had a big part of it. The other thing was the moratorium on evictions drove the costs up for everybody else because every apartment that wasn't paid for or whatever, the maintenance cost and the insurance cost didn't change on the building. So what the people who owned the buildings, and I'm not talking about the BlackRocks, I'm talking about individuals who, with their retirement bought an apartment building or bought, a couple of condos and they rent them out or whatever, is this fucking thin, and it got that fucking thin. And you're supposed to live off that, along with maybe your Social Security. And that was the issue. And so the rents went up to make up for that huge gap afterwards. It will eventually have to come down, but the only thing that will bring it down is building. The only thing that will bring this down, and this is a city council thing, there's nothing the president can do. This is the biggest part of it. Cities across this country, big cities especially, and they talk shit about the building apartment buildings or low-income housing in suburbs. That ain't going to fucking cut it. You have to build large numbers of middle-income housing and apartments, because right now middle-income people can only afford the low-end apartments. If you build more of the middle-income ones,
The lower income ones will eventually get slightly nicer, and even if you're not paying a lot, you'll get something worth living, right? In something genuinely, right? That an apartment that's not just like fucking Skid Row. You need to build out the middle. That's what we need. We need single family homes all through, like, we need big suburbs growing and growing and growing, and we need apartment buildings that have relatively large apartments. These fucking little New York style apartments to just get people in there is not going to change a fucking thing, because where you're building those things is not for the people who don't have money. They're the people who have to live downtown because they make a decent living, but they've got to be there for work. Whereas what you've got is the people who live slightly outside of town, in the cheaper apartments on the edges of the city before the suburbs start, that have to take a bus to the interior of the city to actually go there. LA is like this. So is New York. So is a lot of Chicago. That those folks, they're being pushed out by the people who can't afford to live in the city center because there's not enough places. You can only build your way out of it. And it has to be, you got to build middle out. Bottom up and middle out. Biden's right about that. Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back to this. So this, again, I wanted to show you the other thing real quick before I move on to that thing. So this is where they're talking about the stocks freaked out because they thought the Fed's not going to cut interest rates because inflation's still going up. It's still supply shock, motherfucker. This is not inflation. This is not monetary inflation, and they're all going to be fucking confused. You're going to see a bunch more articles about, I don't get it. Like, people are still working, buying shit, but the prices are going up, but still, I don't understand it. Because COVID and supply shock, you dumb motherfucker. We didn't overprint money. We had a $22 trillion hole in the economy, and we patched it with $6 trillion. There is no situation where you have too much money in that circumstance. And the dollar is still worth more than $1.
For your head and groceries on the table.
What? This dumb motherfucker. Oh, and the other thing, this one right here. Inflation eased in January, but not as much as expected. That's the other thing that pisses me off about the fucking market mentality. It's good, but it wasn't as good as we thought it would be. Jesus Christ. Good is good, motherfucker. Good is good. Good ain't bad. Stop acting like not good enough is bad. It doesn't work that way. Not in real life.
What is this really all about? This spending. What is this really all about? Who's really getting the money here?
Who benefits?
What favors are being done? What NGOs are taking that money and then funneling it back to an election here? What's happening?
You wish. You fucking wish. Here's the question you should be asking, Glenn. Why is it that you think so little of humanity? And I think I know the answer. Because of who you surround yourself with and your own fucking reflection.
Happening.
Well, the biggest...
Careful. He's about to make something up.
Single beneficiary from these.
No one should cry when an upscale shop goes under. Yes, they should. It's not a good thing. Look, I used to hate sports because I thought it was a distraction. Chat room, listen to me. Hey, gather around for a second. I used to hate sports because I thought it was a distraction, and there are more important things in the world. But the reality is, if your society can bother with sports, that means it's above water. And that's the point of life. Concerts, music, visiting, having family, and holidays, and being able to do a job that's rewarding, all that stuff matters. And you can't do that when you're on your fucking heels. And one of the signs that you're on your heels is that there's no nice shit. There's nothing above a certain line. Once there's nothing above that certain line, everything gets squashed down below and people are making do. And then they get pushed down even further. And it happens all the fucking time. I have nothing against really nice things. I have nothing against opulence and fancy pants stuff. As long as it's not at the overall expense of everybody else, which it ain't.
Probably defense contractors, people who make arms.
Don't probably. Listen to this motherfucker. Probably.
Look, there are plenty of people who are patriotic and who are not part of what I would call the military-industrial complex. And by that, I mean those who worship at the altar of war so that they can make more money profiteering off of war. But there are a number of those, and it's a real thing. It's been warned of since President Eisenhower.
Get out of here. Like you gave a fuck until until Putin was on his heels. Lord Almighty.
That the bigger it gets, the more powerful it becomes. And I'd say the military-industrial complex is...
Hey, asshole. The consumer-industrial complex would like a fucking word, because that's what's going on economically in this country. This guy is anti you having money in your pocket. You assholes out there. You're eating too much and having too much fun and going to football games and watching too much television and your productivity is higher than it's ever been, but fuck you. That's what Mike Lee hates. Fuck this dude. Again, one of these like right-wing assholes who is always talking about how the private sector knows how to do everything right, the government can't do shit. Well, then fucking quit working for the government. You're a federal employee, asshole. Stop acting like you're some fucking bootstrapper. You and Donald Trump, you're both frauds.
Single biggest beneficiary from a package like this. Sometimes some of my colleagues will even let the masks slip. Some of my Republican colleagues have done that in recent weeks by saying things like, look, we've got to get this thing done, and we should get this done, because this will create American jobs. It's
God for fucking bid.
good for us to support this war in Ukraine, because it'll create American jobs. Because, Glenn, when we put these, many tens of billions of dollars into these weapons procurement contracts for weapons, by the way, that are going to go to others and not us, and that are actually going to commandeer our procurement process in such a way that we'll have access to weapons for our own uses.
What? Get the fuck out of here. We will or we won't.
Us, and that are actually going to commandeer our procurement process in such a way that we'll have access to weapons for our own uses.
So they're going to commandeer our weapons manufacturing process, and because of that, we will have weapons for our own use.
Later rather than sooner.
Sooner rather than later. These motherfuckers are so anti-colloquialism, it drives me crazy. Guys know it's going to set me the fuck off. It's a tough one. These motherfuckers, they're going to try it. They're pushing me. I almost like it. They called, you rang? Yeah, just say later. Did this motherfucker say later or sooner?
Commandeer our procurement process in such a way that we'll have access to weapons for our own uses.
How the fuck do they commandeer our process so that we finally get access to missiles and weapons we make? What the fuck?
Later rather than sooner.
Sooner rather than later. Fucking. Oh, man. I'm going to get I'm a little salty today.
That employs people in America. That employs people who make a lot of these weapons systems that we're going to be sending over there. But these are things that are, we have a finite stash of them. We've already exhausted a
finite? A finite. You mean a finite? Finite. Sooner or later, finite, you dippy fuck.
But these are things that are, we have a finite stash of.
A funite. I like a fun night out. Hey, I go out, I have a couple of drinks, I, get a fresh waffle spear in my head, and I get my sprinkle on is the way I like to say it on a fun night out.
We've already exhausted a lot of them. It's already going to...
You're exhausting my fucking nerves right now.
Take us, even before we add this package to it, years, possibly until 2030 or 2035, to replace a lot of this stuff. What
You out of your fucking mind? First of all, do you think by 2030, 2035, we're going to be replacing the same shit we have that we're sending them? We're sending them the old stuff, you dippy fuck.
Happens.
Oh,
We
good.
deplete more and more of this stuff while unable to produce more here at home.
What are you talking about? This literally raises production capacity. That's what you just fucking said. This, how? I'm all right. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fucking fine. But how this motherfucker is, to screw up a colloquialism like he would do, thinks more is less is fucking amazing.
It really is concerning. We become.
Well, yeah. I mean, stupid people get concerned about stupid shit. Not because the shit is concerning, but because they don't understand fucking anything.
Less and less capable of protecting the American homeland from what.
From what? Rowboats?
Whatever attack we might face here. This is
Whatever attack we might face here. Hey, fuckwad. When do you think Canada or Mexico are going to invade us in a situation where we require tanks to fight our battles over here? Are you out of your fucking mind? You know what we need? Missile defense. That's it. Missile defense. That's it. We're not sending submarines to these motherfuckers. What's wrong with you?
deeply concerning.
Okay, so Mike Lee in the Senate fighting hard
to understand how English works and how normal people talk to each other. Say later or sooner again, motherfucker. Say it. You fucking... Why are you so beat fucking red, you weirdo?
with
And by the way, what's with the whole fucking thrift store John Denver aesthetic? What is this, your childhood bedroom? Fucking hell.
what? There are about 13 of you, are there not?
Well,
Yeah, that's about the size of a coven.
How many are fighting? No, there's 31.
31 Senate Republicans.
31.
What's the difference? Hey, you know what? It's good, Glenn, that you're in charge of things. When anybody who can fucking reverse a fucking number like that is brilliant.
Who are opposing them.
Yeah.
And think
Right.
about what that means for a minute. That means this is an overwhelming supermajority of Republicans in the
It's what? Sorry, what? A supermajority of your own party because slightly less than half voted for this thing? And if they put it in the House, it would fucking pass with more than enough Republican votes? This motherfucker. Say supermajority again, motherfucker.
United States Senate who
Say supermajority again.
are against it. And yet our Senate Republican leadership is all for it. They're teaming up with Democrats to
Unbelievable.
promote Democratic policies to unite Democrats
Okay.
on issues that are particular to the left. This is concerning.
So last
How is defense particular to the left? I'll wait. Meanwhile, say supermajority again, you dumb motherfucker.
week, gang, you stopped the bill in the Senate on the border. You got
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should keep bringing that up.
to do it again. You make a difference. You do make a difference.
Yes, you do. Yeah, give him a pep talk, Glenn, while you're at it. You bloated, sonic drinking fuck. Sorry, salty.
Call your senator and say,
He is a senator. He doesn't have a senator. He's supposed to call the other.
no uncertain terms, you're not to keep giving my children and my great-great-grandchildren's money away. We don't have the money. We don't have the... Enough is enough.
It's weird. We had plenty of it for years in Afghanistan, though, right? We had tens of billions of dollars to spill in Afghanistan, billions of dollars every year, nearly the amount we're giving to Ukraine every 3 years for 20 fucking years, but just a little while longer. Hang in there, Glenn, right?
My gosh. Mike, thanks for the good fight. I appreciate it. God bless.
What fight? What fight? Say fight again, motherfucker. What's he fighting about? It's not fighting. It's legislation. I got a good idea. Work with me on this, you fucking dipshit. The next time you're in a fight, try to go time out. I have an amendment, and then try to find your fucking teeth. Fight. Shut the fuck up. Bunch of butch bullshit. He gets upset. He does. He gets a salty cupcake. He gets, or to some people, he's Samuel L. Cupcake. But either way, he's he serves a necessary purpose, I think, for all of us. Don't you?
Thank you very much. Good to be with you.
Thank you very much for this huge waste of time. All right. Yes, Glenn Beck makes $30 to $40 million a year, and he goes to like specialty suit shops, and he's like, I know what the average person is feeling. Oh, by the way, remember when he had issues at his compound that he was building in Texas because the solar system that he had ordered when they built the property was already out of date by the time it came in, and he was having issues returning parts of it, apparently, because he wanted the new updated, more efficient version of the solar system. Does that sound... Yeah. Think about everything else this dumb motherfucker says and understand that actually happened. Whew. Oh, God.